and welcome to another episode of Ask AJ.
A summer episode.
That's a joke, isn't it?
A summer episode in the sun.
Honestly, it was even supposed to be nice today, according to weather forecast, and it is torrential rain yet again. It is horrendous, isn't
We
it?
should make a TV programme called Escape to the Rain and just show all of our homes on it.
It hasn't stopped people viewing and buying though.
No.
We've had some
In a
really good offers
couple of
recently.
weeks. Yeah.
So what normally happens on Ask AJ is the team take on this, the challenge of speaking to you every week about something that,
We think. We've watched one.
no, we assume that's what
Yeah.
we do every Wednesday. It's been
If you're a
weeks
regular watcher,
recently.
please let us know.
So that's what they do, and they talk about a recent challenge or a question or just something that's on their mind about how the market's progressing or how a specific photo shoot went or whatever. But every now and again, Phil and I like to jump on and just talk to you directly about where we see the market is going, what we're seeing here on the ground, and what the different markets are. So if sub $1 million, say $1 million to $5 million, and then what we like to call the super prime market, which we've had some activity in recently, which has been very exciting. But Phil was just talking to me about the Keir Starmer announcement that the autumn budget, it's a warning really, isn't it, is going to be brutal.
Yes.
So
The fully costed, fully budgeted manifesto seems to have gone out the window.
it's run out of money.
Yeah. And
In fact, if they told everybody what they were going to do in the budget, they wouldn't have got in.
I'm not sure people actually look or read or care at what's in any manifesto and they go, I don't like him or her, I like him or her, and that's how it...
Well, just look at the American election. That's exactly how it's going.
Yeah, so we've got what we've got. So the end of October, I think we're sort of expecting it anyway, but it was confirmed yesterday that it's going to be, quote, a painful budget. Now, what does this mean? Well,
I mean, we shouldn't have voted for them.
he's going to... We'll keep this neutral, Samantha. He's going to hit the easy... he's going to take the easy wins. And the easy wins are those that have second homes, that pay taxes that arguably isn't their money initially. So inheritance tax is a really easy win for them. Capital gains tax, really easy win.
He's going after these little slush funds, isn't he? That he feels like he could get more money out of
Yeah.
without hurting the man on the street with the standard job.
That's how it's going to be, trying to keep it neutral again, dressed up, isn't it?
Yes.
It's definitely, I think our core market here is, from a buyer point of view, is usually people that have done really well in business and then they buy a second home or usually somewhere that they come and spend the holidays or etc. So it is going to hit those people, isn't it?
Well, because it's hitting people with luxury purchases, surplus savings, surplus funds, unexpected windfalls. It's hitting those people, isn't it? And even to the point where we think that he's probably going to get rid of entrepreneurs relief.
Yes, that's another easy win for him.
It is just, and it's so unfair because if we're trying to create a nation of people who can stand financially on their own 2 feet and create businesses that will allow other people to do the same, then he's going after the wrong people. Because we create wealth.
Yeah, well, I agree with you, but it's a divisive topic, isn't it? Those that in a position that do create it believe so, and those that aren't in a position believe the opposite. So it's always going to be a divisive topic.
By the way, I heard something really interesting on an interview the other day with some very old entrepreneur, I can't remember who it was now, some major investor that I'd never heard of. And he said he thought that it was immoral to allow people to hold more than $1 billion, he was talking about, in personal wealth. I thought that's a really interesting idea. I can't really think of an argument against that, apart from freedom of speech and freedom of money and general freedom. But I quite like that idea that any more than £1 billion in holding, then you have to somehow give it away or create businesses with it.
Describe holding.
Well, obviously, there's. I'm sure you could hide it away if you needed to. If you had more than £1 billion, you could probably put it under your mattress, couldn't you? And you'd be all right.
Yeah. I'm against that idea because we know what it would take to create that, and also how many people would he or she be supporting off of that network, and supporting very well and hopefully successfully. But
I don't know though, because if you say that somebody's got, we're going off topic here, but if somebody's got more than $1 billion, right? So they go and buy a yacht and all the rest of it. What are they going to do with the rest? Because you go and buy a yacht, let's say a £500 million yacht. You're not creating that many jobs. You're creating the jobs to build the yacht, but you could go and build a load of houses.
Well, you're creating tax from the buying the yacht.
Yeah.
You're going to staff the yacht.
Yeah. It's not enough, really.
What says who?
Says me. So if you had another 500 million...
Okay, and then the company that you've bought the yacht from, what do they do with
I agree with all
500?
that, but you could still go and buy a good bit of land and build a little village on it and give those houses away.
Yeah, but they might not want to. Or they might do that as well.
Well, they should do that, I think. Just that, have you heard of Port Sunlight?
No.
So Port Sunlight, and I'll probably get my facts wrong here, maybe Lynn can correct me, it was created in about 1950s as a village by a philanthropist who had Sunlight, which is this like soap and washing powder and that kind of stuff. So he was he was probably in the equivalent time of, close to a billionaire. So he built Port Sunlight for all his workers, so his workers could live in this beautiful village. They had a school and shops and, it was like creating this little
I'm
haven.
sure there's a negative side that people find in that.
Yeah.
They're controlling them.
Yeah.
They have to live in a certain... So, yeah.
Anyway, the point I was making was, who should you take the money from to distribute it or to pay for things?
The one that... This is going to a totally different direction. The one I can't get my head around, and there has to be a reason that isn't discussed, is the energy companies.
Right.
How can you make billions of profit, increasing profit, and yet the cap goes up by 10%?
Because they're not private anymore, because they've got...
Because
they are private, they're not public.
Yeah, but the company that puts the cap on is public.
Yes.
So how can it raise 10%? What's the argument to raise that 10% if these are the profits?
Because the shareholder...
No, but the company that puts the cap on is a government-led company.
I don't know.
So there has to be a reason, whether it's their net profit is absolutely minimal and it's gross, or I can't...
Well, some energy companies have actually gone out of business because it can't be that lucrative.
Yeah, BP's profits are
astronomical. Yeah, BP it isn't just an energy company. It's got massive assets all over the world. It's a global empire, isn't it? It's not just, they don't just give us our petrol.
No, I understand that, but it's ultimately an energy company, and if the profits are there, energy, it feels a bit like water, where it's not a nice to have, is it? So therefore, it should be controlled, in my opinion.
I completely agree. I've been saying about the trains, and the trains were better before
Trains.
it went. Yeah, they're just ridiculous. I went to Chester with my daughter and grandson, who is a child, as a ticket, and it was £193 for a 2-hour return journey. I think that is criminal.
And they're awful, aren't they?
You don't even get a seat.
No. Me and Molly, my wife, are going New York to Boston, which is about 4.5 hours, and it's about $27 each it was.
You go to Boston?
Yeah.
I'm a bit jealous of that. I've wanted to go to Boston with the family for years. We went to see...
I invite you, but I don't want you to come, so...
No. We went to see It Ends With Us yesterday, me and Molly, and that's set in Boston. It's beautiful, it's a beautiful city. She never mentioned once she was going. I said, what a beautiful city. That's why, because she's embarrassed.
No, she wouldn't have known it was Boston.
I told her it was Boston.
She probably hasn't worked out it's the same Boston. Otherwise, because she also never told me. Anyway, so what we're talking about, just to bring it back, is that these thoughts are probably also in our buyers' thoughts and our sellers' thoughts too, which is not helpful. What we have seen is some people wanting to complete on purchases before the budget, in case that some immediate things come in. I don't think it will be immediate. It's usually the quarter after or the beginning of the year. Stamp duty is another one that potentially could get hit with second homeowners, and so there's a lot of uncertainty. It will start leaking out over the next few weeks as they try and test the water and see how far they can push things. But I think IHT and CGT are almost guarantees that they're going to be on the list.
So the good news is, and we've said this a few times, haven't we? If you are in sort of super prime market, your house is worth say more than £4, £5, £6 million, then you and your buyer are probably a little bit more immune to those kind of changes. If you're in where we think it hits the worst is for £1 million market, because these are people who have probably saved up all their lives, or they've made financial decisions based on whatever the government legislation is there. So they've tried to plan for inheritance tax, and they've tried to sell their business at the right time, and they've tried to make smart decisions, and then this is going to come back and kick them in the teeth. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, what's interesting though is even since he said that, which I think was yesterday, was it? Or was it? Yeah, I think it was yesterday. That even since yesterday, we've had a few offers in that price range.
We have
at asking price,
but they were before they started. We started working on this offers before the announcement.
Yeah.
Didn't we? And maybe they're just kind of like ostriching at the moment, just to
I think
house of their dreams.
the interest levels at that price point are still really strong and still selling a lot.
It's funny. I was talking to
so
somebody.
hopefully that continues.
I was talking to somebody in Surrey yesterday.
Where?
Surrey. You're not funny.
I apologise.
That's such a dad joke, In fact, it's practically a granddad joke.
Off three.
So we won't talk about that topic. Months ago, James, he's called, was telling me that the market was absolutely on fire there. That as soon as they put property on the market, anything from £1 million to £5 million, it would just fly off the shelves.
Where was this?
Surrey. He's still not funny. And then I spoke to him, Friday, and he said it's completely dead. All the offers have dried up. He's putting houses on the market. He's not getting anything at all. So it is really funny that we've got these big waves of like little micro markets, and it doesn't seem to be linked to things like Keir Starmer's kind of announcement. It seems to be linked to other little micro markets. It could even be that when there's a big flurry, that creates a flurry. It's a bit like the queue at home ground. There's a queue, so there's a queue. And when there's a flurry and people start to react quicker and put offers in quicker and seal them quicker because they feel like there's a sense of competition, that brings its own market regardless of the economy. And then when that dies down, suddenly people feel a little bit more chilled and they feel like they have got time to think about their decision, or they might even be getting cold feet.
Yeah, I think the country is becoming a lot more immune to political disruption. It's been 4 years now of this is going to happen, this is going to happen since Brexit, and now every time we hit one of these bumps, it seems to have less impact on buyers and probably more on sellers actually, because they think, oh wait, but the impact on buyers is actually less.
Well, if we can get through, leaving the common market, that is a massive deal. It's one of the biggest deals, sort of from a European market standpoint in my lifetime. There was a lot of talk in the 70s and 80s about the common market and all the different political waves of that, and then it settled down for many years, and then all of a sudden out of the blue it felt like Brexit happened. And so us leaving the EU, it felt a bit like out of the blue, because there'd been like stirrings, but I don't think anybody expected. I think, it was, I can't remember what government it was, but it was somebody that was Cameron. I think he was just trying to call a bluff, and then it failed. That's how I see it.
But he got in on the back of promising the manifesto, promising the referendum. Never thought it'd get anywhere near,
and then
yeah.
So we can get through that, and you know, a lot of our buyers and sellers have European financial interests and business interests. We can get through anything, I think.
Yeah.
We even got through the pandemic.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in the world as well at the moment that is impacting share prices, stock prices, etc.
Yeah, I think we need to be a bit wary of if Trump actually does get in.
Politics aside, he'll likely solidify the US financial market.
Okay.
So it would actually be good from a point of view.
Okay.
Politics aside.
As I go there, just thank God for Kamal, that's all I say. Anyway, what does it mean for you? If you are considering selling and you've been hanging on for the last couple of years thinking, what should I do? And it seems to you that it's just one thing after another, lots of reasons not to sell. The best thing to do is just have a chat with us. You might have already had Phil or Tom or me come out and see you and had a chat about the potential of selling. But you might want a refresh, or like we've seen quite a lot of in the last few months, there's been some really substantial renovations and changes to a lot of homes in the South Lakes. And you might be thinking, God, have we overspent? You know, should we get a valuation? Well, all of that is free. And if nothing else, we're very nosy. We'd love to see the inside of your beautiful home that you've renovated. And you might be pleasantly surprised, or you might decide, actually, that's not enough and we're going to put any plans to sell on hold for now. Whichever that is, that's fine. We feel that the best advice that we can give you is to get advice at this step, so that you can just make decisions for yourself and your family and make decisions at the right time, and also be quick to change that if the market changes in your favour, or if we introduce a buyer that wants exactly your home. You know, so now is the best time to talk to us about that. We've just recently been seeing the most beautiful home on one of the lakes in the Lake District, private home with loads and loads of lake frontage, been on the market with a major international agent for many, many months and had no interest at all. And I think that the owner probably felt a little bit embarrassed or a little bit unsure about going to a local agent, because there's a bit of security, isn't there, with a national agent? That's what you think. But ultimately, we can do such a better job here on the ground, not bringing in a national agent from another city in the country. And we have, you know, many, many buyers we have very close relationships with. And so I think to have a conversation, even if you are on the market with an international agent or a national agent, it is a really smart decision to make. You might be surprised by the outcome of that meeting.
You might not be. I think...
you might go, I knew I wasn't going to like Phil.
Yeah, I think...
You were told you were very young this week.
I am.
Were you 32?
Well, it depends what room you're in, doesn't it?
No, I think...
Right now, so on camera, I look very young.
I don't think the word very... I think it's superfluous, that one.
Depends who you sat next to, doesn't it?
Grandmother of 6.
What we can say, we can say all about what we're hearing from a political point of view and what that may do to the market. From a certainty point of view, what we're seeing is pretty solid numbers of viewings and pretty solid numbers of offers. So it definitely isn't a bad time to sell if you're thinking, well, let's wait till this plays out. Or
it's not the best market we've had, but it's actually not the worst.
It's the best market we've had probably. Well, it's up there within the last 18 months.
Yeah.
It's a much better time to sell now than it was 6 months ago.
Yeah. If you look at the last 10 years, it's probably a really good mid-market.
Yeah.
But if you look at the last 3 years, you've seen massive highs and lows, and then we're just leveling out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a good time, because then people can predict. You know that if you get a valuation today, it's not going to change tomorrow. It probably won't change for 6 to 12 months.
No.
But 3 years ago, you got a valuation today, it was going to be significantly different tomorrow, either positive or negative. So now I think is a time at least you can plan. And this is something you're talking about, isn't it? You're thinking about selling your house, and you think about buying another, and you know you can buy the time a little bit now, because those two prices won't really change. Well, not very much. So yeah, get in touch, ask for me, Phil or Tom, and we can come around and see you, have a cup of tea and talk about what the market's doing, have a little bit of a chat about Trump and
We'll stay away from that.
and inheritance tax and what we think of trains and energy companies. Be a fascinating conversation, I'm sure. See you soon.